Waregem, Belgium hosted the 2019 UCI MountainBike World Championships on Thursday, August the 15th. So this time there was no white jersey at stake, but the rainbow jersey. The big names in both men's and women's competition included the double UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup race winner Hugo Briata from France and Italy's Gaia Tormena. The 17-year-old, already Italian and European champion, dominated this year's Women's Eliminator World Cup competition so far and was aiming to add more sparkle to her trophy case.
Je me sens préparée et je me suis entraînée beaucoup.
I feel ready, I trained a lot and I like this track. I will do my best and we'll see what happens. Other women to keep an eye on: Spain's Magdalena Duran, last year's bronze medalist Irina Popova from Ukraine and defending UCI world champion Coline Clauzure. Of course there is pressure because I'm the one to beat. The start of the season was somewhat complicated. The condition became gradually better. I was second at the European Championship, so I hope to achieve a similar result. We'll see. The training was good, the track is pretty okay, and I feel good. For the men's race, we are looking out for multiple Dutch national champion and overall 2018 UCI City MountainBike Eliminator World Cup winner Jeroen van Eck.
I'm really looking forward to those World Championships. The shape is good. I'm very enthusiastic about the course, but also mentally I think I'm ready for it. But you know, Eliminator, everything has to fall on its place, and yeah, that's something I don't have control on.
But also other medal contenders were present, like reigning UCI world champion Titouan Perrin-Ganier, 2 times bronze medalist at the previous UCI World Championships Lorenzo Ceres, and Germany's Simon Gegenheimer, who won the first round of the Eliminator World Cup in Waregem back in 2017.
The season starts super hard. All riders are on the full gas, so it will be challenging today. But like I said, the season was now long and everybody prepared by its own. So I think it will be different today.
I'm double world champion, but yes, I have a little goal for me today. If I be a triple world champion, I'm in history of eliminator, because never man have do the triple world champion, and yes, it's gonna be cool.
After the last race in Volterra, French rider and winner Hugo Briata had to be taken to a local hospital, but he was alright, and here in Waregem he was to be considered as the main challenger for Jeroen van Eck.
We only have to check if there was no hurt problem, but it's not just an hypoglycemia, so I think it's okay now. I have to manage my food to not let this situation happen again, but it's okay.
Also in the spotlights, German rider Felix Klausmann. He's the perfect type of rider for this kind of track, and this condition is top spot.
I feel really confident with the track. I love the stairs. Maybe not yesterday because I had a flat tire, but with the sand it's okay, and a really long line to the finish line, and I hope I can fight there against the others, maybe when I'm behind them.
Since this World Championship was held in Belgium, we saw some Belgians like former World Cup winner Fabrice Mels, who wasn't competing so far this year. The 2014 XCE World Champ is just back home from his honeymoon, and he wanted to show that he had to be taken into account.
I did the best I can to make myself ready for the championship, because I was preparing for the Waregem World Cup, not for the World Championships. But yeah, I think I'm feeling fine today. I have no idea what to expect. It's my first eliminator this year, so it will be directly a hard one. But I will sell my skin very expensive today, like they say in Belgium. So yeah, I will try to do my best.
22 women and 28 men appeared in the starting area for the time trials. 1 lap against the clock, 493 meters with 5 obstacles, 9 turns and 2 straights, together 150 meters. You better had the better legs if you wanted to play a role of any importance in this race. The women's quali was won by the Swedish Ella Holmegert, and she was very happy with that hope-giving result.
Yeah, it's a revenge from the Europeans, and
my World Cup season so far. It haven't been so good, so I'm happy with a good start at least.
The men's qualification was quite disastrous for some of the favorites. Fabrice Mels had 2 flat tires in his second passing through the underground parking. He finished only 20th and was disappointed.
It's a nightmare. I don't know how it happened. I went on the stairs for so many times in the training with the same pressure. And I come on the stairs and I hear, when I'm coming up, I'm hearing the tire losing air. And I thought, I have a puncture, but it will be okay. But I turned the next corner after the jump and I feel like, So I came on the bridge, almost crashed on the bridge here. And I tried to sprint as hard as I can. And I crossed the finish line and I feel like, at the back it's also. So it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Also, Jeroen van Eck didn't have his lucky day. He had to be rider and mechanic at the same time during his qualification ride.
Halfway the course, my chain dropped stairs down, and in that split second I decided now I have to take my chain, and I put it on my chain ring when I was still having some speed, and just before the uphill I could pedal again, but I lose like 4 seconds there, and I made it till spot 19, which wasn't the fastest for sure, but that I kept cool during my time trial, focused, fixed the problem, and could finish the time trial made me good, I think.
The best men's qualification time was for another rider from the Netherlands. He came to Waregem to have a taste of City MountainBike, and he was charmed.
Quite ridiculous actually. I just prepared a few weeks and I got a BMX history and doing track cycling now, so it's a bit of experience for me here. But when I heard about this mountainbike eliminator, I was like, that's something for me. I want to try and do that, and we're just out of the season, so I was like, why not?
As the stake became higher in the quarterfinals, we witnessed some important eliminations. Qualification winner Ella Hulmegaert suffered technical problems in her heat and had to leave the race early. Brehm and Hartog went through to the semi. Hulmegaert disappeared in tears. In a quarterfinal that could have been the final, Marion Fromberger was the technical victim. An early chain break kicked her out of the game and gave free way to the semi-final qualification for Gaia Tormena and Coline Clauzure. Czech rider Barbara Protkova and French rider Léa Jouvet qualified quite easily in the third heat. And another surprise in the fourth heat, where 2018 European champion Irina Popova couldn't push through. Tight battle for victory, Laurie Vézy and Isor Médé, both French riders, went through to the next round. The men's quarterfinals then, and also there was some excitement. The first heat was colored orange as the explosiveness of Jeffrey Hoogland kept surprising on this technical course, and also Levi Brown had one of his better days and qualified for the next round. In the second heat, Simon Gegenheimer had major concerns. The former world champion had technical issues that pushed him backwards. The pace of this race was just too high for Jay Bitterbier. Titouan, Perrin-Ganier and Fabrice Mels went one level up. Bad luck for Czech rider Dominik Prudek in the third quarterfinal as his chain broke. 2019 European champion Hugo Briata and his fellow countryman Lorenzo Ceres had an easy qualification, and with the next races coming up very soon, this was undoubtedly a physical advantage. The most quarter-final excitement we got in the final heat, where 4 riders transformed this race in a thriller up to the last inch. Stay attentive and concentrated until you're over the finish line. It seems quite logical, but it's a lesson Jeroen van Eck learned the hard way in Waregem. Thinking qualifications was a fact, he relaxed in the final meters and saw Felix Klausman and Joel Boerman pushing through to the next round. The semi-finals then, with Tormena for Italy, Brehm for Germany, Clauzure for France and Hartog for the Netherlands. 1 and 2 go through, 3 and 4 are eliminated. This competition form is ruthless but also fair. Only the best of the best continue. No problems for the favorites here, as Tormena and Clauzure were able to qualify for the final. It's so hard, but I like it. I'm ready. We have quite some time to recuperate. My legs are good, and I hope that it will even be better in the final. The women's second semi-final was more difficult to predict, with Verzimede and Houillet for France and Prutkova. The Czech rider performed very strong so far, but in this race formula you never know how hard the previous efforts weigh, and in every race you also need a bit of luck, and flat tires and chain brakes are always looking around the corner. We will see Prutkova and Mede in the World Championship final.
Oh, it's shitty hard. I'm surprised for the power today, and girls are strong, so we will be in the final. So
One race to go.
I hope that I win.
With Jeffrey Hoogland, Titouan, Perrin-Ganier, Fabrice Mels and Levi Braam, we had two riders from the Netherlands, a French and a Belgian rider. And they offered what the fans had come for, a nice clean fight on the bikes. The track in Waregem was very demanding. The long straights blasted the heartbeat rhythm into heights. The stairs up out of the car park were especially the second time a real calf biter, so only the strong survived, but these competitors were all very strong. Perrin-Ganier and Braam were the first two to be written on the Men's World Championship final sheet.
It's another final in the World Championship for me. It was really tactical and really hard, but I just want to be safe for my qualification.
Superb, coming from fourth to second on the finish line with a long hard sprint. It's amazing, good feeling.
The second semi-final was a confrontation between French riders Briata and Ceres, the Swedish Boerman and the German Klausmann. In this year's World Cup races, Klausmann was already literally beaten a couple of times on the finish line. And as if fate was in the game, it was again a nightmare run for the German. Briata and Boerman qualified. Klausmann's jump finish was just a sight too short for a World Championship final spot.
I don't like for the finish. It's the third time I'm out. That's a bit hard, but
It's a very fast race with a lot of technical parts. It's not technical like, in the forest or mountain bike. It's technical because there is a lot of curve, very speed curve. So we need to be focused.
With Gaia Tormena and Coline Clauzure, we saw two big favorites for the title in this World Championship final. Isor Mede was the surprise in the final, and based on what we witnessed in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, we were anxious to find out how strong Czech Prutkova still would be to compete in this final and push the favorites over their limits. But as expected, we got a close battle between Tormena and Clauzure. Tormena is basically a cross-country rider and used to ride while watching her heartbeat rhythm meter, but she stopped doing that in City MountainBike races because the heartbeat peaked so high that it was quite scary. At 17, she won in Waregem her first world title City MountainBike, and it probably won't be her last.
Incroyable, 17 âges. Je n'y crois pas.
It's unbelievable. 17, I don't believe it. Thanks to everybody, my friends, my parents, my team, my trainer Riva, the Italian Federation. Thank you everybody.
Merci à tous.
In the men's final, we saw defending world champion Perrin-Ganier, actual European champion Briata, for Sweden Boerman and for the Netherlands Braam. All four showed their best form and conditions so far in this World Championship. Briata was recently faster than his teammate Perrin-Ganier at the European Championships and in the World Cup races, but we all know that Titouan has the skills to peak to big meetings like the World Championships. In a thrilling race, all four competitors set fire to each other. Again, it was only just at the finish line that the 2019 gold medalist was known. And again, it was Titouan Perrin-Ganier who was victorious. Boerman and Briata flashed back to their final.
It was a really hard final. I haven't raced this Eliminator before, just in Sweden, so it was the first international race for me, and It was really good.
I knew there would be other strong athletes, but we were very focused on each other with Titouan because it was like, you know, a battle between his and me.
Another world title for the man from La Bresse, who shared his joy with his wife and his baby on its way. Time for the prize-giving ceremony and the results of this World Championships. The next race is a City MountainBike Eliminator World Cup race in the Netherlands in Valkenswaard, only 3 days after these World Championships. See you in the Netherlands for some more City MountainBike action.